So we are on chapter 13, and a quick revision of what we did the last time we met. We saw the 20-point program, and then Bhagwan gave a description of Brahman, if we may say so. He, in verse 13, he said, I shall tell you that which is to be known. Nayam. What is the nayam? What is to be known? And he's knowing which, he says, you obtain immortality, because you go beyond the cycle of birth and death, and it is anadi, it is beginningless, and therefore there is no end to it, and it is beyond sat and asat, and we had a substantial description on that once. Beyond sat and asat, it's to be understood it is the substratum of both sat and asat. If you call it sat, then you make it one of the pair of opposites, and it's not a pair of opposite. It is beyond all pairs, and therefore you cannot call it as sat, and definitely it is not asat as well. So so that's why it is known as beyond sat and asat, although Upanishad does say it is sat, but because to explain to the student, that is the first level, understand it as to be existence. That is the first level of understanding, and then go beyond that. It is also that same existence is supporting the non-existence. That is what is to be understood. Because when you take existence as opposite of non-existence, then it's a pair of opposites. And if you call Brahman as Sat, then it is becoming one of the pairs, and it cannot become one of the pairs. It is not one of the pairs. In 14, he explained it with reference to the gross body. So all the hands are his, he said, all the hands and the legs and whatever that you see is mine, meaning that they cannot function without me. So it is with Upadhi, Brahman with Upadhi of the gross body, then Brahman with Upadhi of the subtle body. Because we cannot feel or we cannot think without the presence of the pure consciousness. Therefore, it says Sarvendriya Gunam Abhasam. So all these indriyas also, they are mine. Indriya senses, they are mine because they cannot function without me. So explaining the gross body, that the gross body also is his, meaning it's his means, not that he's an entity and he owns something. They cannot function. Like I gave you, the appliances cannot function without electricity. So if electricity says all the appliances are mine, that is what it means. And then Bahirantascha Bhutanam Acharam. So inside and outside. If you take the body as a limit, understand it's inside and outside. But the body itself is an illusion. The world is an illusion. So actually there is no inside outside. And the best example is space. We do say that this is the kitchen space and this is the living room space and the bedroom space. But actually have we divided that space? So if you break that wall, you will never know that this was a bedroom at one point, because you had constructed walls. Then you said this is the bedroom and this is the living room. But if you break that wall in between, so that upadhi, when it is broken, and it is illusory, therefore the space is one. It was always one. We created a wall in there, and then we said this space is named this much and this space is named this. But the space was never a bedroom space. Space is space. It's not a bedroom space and this. So that way, because of the upadhi of the body, we think inside and outside, but actually it's only one. It is all pervading, unbroken. Chara and achara, moving and unmoving. So it is present as existence in the inert objects. It is present as existence, consciousness, and bliss in living objects because of the presence of the subtle body. What is living and not living, inert and sentient, is the presence of the subtle body. There is no subtle body in inert matter, and therefore there cannot be consciousness and bliss, the presence of consciousness and bliss. But we have, living beings have, so therefore there is the all three included, and maximum in human beings. There is a maximum expression of all these in the humans. Even animals feel happy. We know that. Trees, not so much, but animals we know, and humans feel even more happy. Sukshmatvat, it's extremely subtle. Avidneyam, unknowable. Unknowable, understand it by the senses. Unknowable by the senses, but to be known as the subject itself. It can, if you say unknowable, then it's not, because we know ourselves, we know that we are existing. So it is knowable, but it has to be known only as your own self. It has to be known as an experience. It cannot be known as an object. That's why unknowable. All the objects are knowable by the senses. So unknowable means unknowable by the sense. It's to be understood by the senses, is to be understood. Durastam antikeja. It's far and it's near. It is near for those who have faith. It is far away for those who don't have faith. It is near for those who have love for God. It is far away if you don't have love. And I gave you the example. My neighbor is farther away from me, even though physically he's very close. He's farther away from me than my own daughter, who is way away in New York. She's closer to me than my neighbor who is physically. So it's not that sort of, so this far and near also should be understood. It's all pervading. So really it cannot be far and it cannot be near. But if I don't have faith in it, if I don't have faith in Brahman, if I don't have love for Brahman, then it's way away from me. It's very far away from me. And near and far. So this is, and then avibhaktam cha bhuteshu vibhaktam iva cha sthitam. So it appears as divided. Why? Because of the upadhis. So it appears like there is consciousness here and then there is consciousness over there and over there and over there. But actually it is not. Same way, like electricity, it appears like, oh, there is electricity in the den here because the computer is working, and then there is electricity in the kitchen because the range is working. But in between the den and the kitchen, in the walls, there is electricity as well. So it appears to be broken, but it is not broken. It is undivided. Bhuta bhartrucha tadniham. So it is the devourer. Grasishnu Prabha-Vishnu. So Prabha-Vishnu, creator. So Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. We can understand it that way. So it is the creator. Brahman is because of which creation is happening, because of which the sustenance is happening, and because of which dissolution will happen. And it is happening. Every day it happens for us. We wake up in the morning, then we sustain throughout the day, then at night we go into pralaya. That's why it's called a, daily pralaya is there for us. We go to deep sleep, it is pralaya for us, because the world ends in deep sleep for us. Not that the world ends completely, but for us it is ended once we go into deep sleep. So that is what this is. He's the substratum of all three. And then Jyotisham api tat jyotihi. So he is the light of all lights. Meaning all the light that we see, the sunlight, the natural light, na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam is the exact this thing. Or like I told you, Guruji in his Dhanyashtakam, he said, Jo, this is to be understood as electricity is the jyoti of all the appliances, is the light of, because the appliances cannot function without electricity. So the sun cannot give light without that Brahman. That's how it's to be understood, because we see sun is the most brilliant and the most source of natural light, etc., etc. But without Brahman, the sun is not able to function. And I gave you the example. The sun has to be validated by a conscious being. That is what it means. There has to be a conscious being saying that there is a sun. If there isn't, then the sun has no validity. Jnanam, Neyam, Jnana Gamyam. Jnanam, the 20-point program. Neyam, supreme reality, what is to be known. And Jnana Gamyam, that one, which is Riddhi Sarvasya Vishtitam, which is seated in the hearts of all. And to reach that one who is seated in the hearts of what we think, what is seated in our heart, what I think as I is the ego. And therefore that ego, the experiencer, has to be devalued. All three have to be, the triad has to be devalued, basically, to reach the supreme reality. Because the triad is what is creating the differences, and the triad is being created because of the ego. Because I think that I am here, something else is over there. I am here, that is different, therefore that can give me happiness. So there is the experienced object, it has to be devalued by reducing our dependence on it. Because if I do, oh man, I cannot live without a cup of tea in the morning. I've put value on the cup of tea. So I've given it so much reality that my life is, I cannot begin my day without a cup of tea. That has to be devalued. That the dependence has to reduce. Okay, when the tea is available, I'll drink it. If it's not available, that's fine too. That attitude has to be there to every object, person, situation. So that is with regards to reduce dependence on objects. the experiencing, reduce the value given to that. That's why talking about the past, seniors do that. They will only talk about the past, that what they have experienced. That's why Gurudev has said, past is gone and dead, drop it, right? So talking about those experiences, you're giving value to them. You're giving reality to them, constantly talking. Forget that. And finally, the most important is the experiencer, which is the ego, which is very, very active. That has to be also devalued. Not giving. And how do I devalue the ego? Is when I get hurt or when I get happy. Not sukha dukhe same krutva. Chapter 2, Bhagavad Gita. Sukha dukhe. Sukha comes, okay, that's fine. Dukkha comes, that's fine too. That attitude has to be. Otherwise, the ego is happy. So how many people can I call and what should I do? And this, that shouldn't be there. And then when hurt comes, sorrow comes, then I'm totally depressed and down, and they have to be at the even keel. Both of them have to be even. That is how we can come to recognize the supreme reality. Okay. We go on. Now he concludes in 19. Iti kshetram tatha jnanam neyam choktam samasatah madbhakta etad vidnyaya madbhavayopapadyate. Thus, the field, as well as the knowledge and the knowable, have been briefly stated. My devotee, knowing this, enters into my being. Here, see, he gave a 20-point program through knowledge. And what he has done here now is added another dimension to that knowledge, and that is devotion. Love. So the first line is pretty simple. He says, Samasata. In brief, I have explained to you, and I told you the explanation of this kshetra was just in 2 verses, because we know it. We know kshetra. So he says, in brief, I have explained to you, and the one who is devoted to me will come to me. Even in chapter 7, he said, this Maya is very difficult to cross over. The one who holds on to my feet will cross over. So here also now he adds that dimension of devotion. Devotion is required, because unless we have love for the thing, we are not going to go after it. That's the thing. What I love for, I go for. Now I want to know. If I love somebody or something, I want to know more about it, more about that place, more about that person, more about that object. Obviously, see, if there is only knowledge, necessarily there may not be love. I know the Prime Minister. Do I love him? Knowledge doesn't guarantee love. It doesn't guarantee. But love guarantees knowledge. If you fall in love with somebody or something, you will definitely make an attempt to know that entity. Now, with God, with Brahman, with God, Brahman, of course, loved. But if God, the more you come to know about God, there is no other alternative but to fall in love. And Swami Shananji said that too. In Subodh Vedanta also it came. He said, if you know, once you come to know God, you will love him, because there is only good about God. But if you have that love already, you will go more after it. That's why Bhagwan is now here. My devotee, knowing this, my devotee means one who is already in love with me. One who already has devotion for me enters into my being, becomes one with him. Okay, moksha. So that's what this verse is saying. Now he's going to explain Purusha and Prakriti and creation. Prakrutim Purusham Chaiva Vidyanadi Ubhavapi Vikaransha Gunash Chaiva Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan. Know now that matter and spirit are both beginningless, and know thou also that all modifications and qualities are born of Prakriti. So this we need to understand. Matter and spirit, how are they both beginningless? What is matter here? Matter is Prakriti. What is Prakriti? Prakriti is Maya. What is Maya? It is the power of the Lord. It is the inherent power of the Lord. Spirit is Brahman. So both are beginningless, because if Brahman is beginningless, then Maya is his power. So if it's like this. If I say, how old is my power of seeing? It is exactly as old as my age of the body. Why? Because as soon as I was born, the power of seeing came with that birth. So it is me and my power of seeing, they are same age. They came with that. In case of Brahman, now with our case, when will the power of seeing end? When this body dies. When the body dies, power of seeing also will go away. That is in our case. Now, in case of Brahman, when was Brahman born? We know it is beginningless. Brahman is beginningless. So his power also has to be beginningless. His power, Maya, has to be beginningless. That's why it's being said that no, that matter and spirit both are beginningless. Now, if matter and spirit both are beginningless, what is the difference? Matter will end, can end and will end, but Prakriti, the spirit will not end. That is the difference. Now here, matter ends means what? Means does the power of Brahman end? No, power remains. But for the jiva, for that ignorant being, once he recognizes himself to be the self, so a realized master, for a person of realization, for a man of realization, Maya ends. So therefore, Maya or Prakriti has an end. It is beginningless, but it can have an end. It has an end. And that is the difference between Maya and Brahman. That Brahman and Maya both are beginningless, but one has an end, the other one doesn't have an end. It can end. It ends in knowledge. Knowledge alone can take away Maya. And once that Maya is taken away, and again, Subodhvin, that's why that very excellent text that is, there also Swamiji explained that the perception of the world will remain the same, but the understanding will change. That is what it is. It is going to be the same world. The world is not suddenly going to change for a realized master. It cannot change. But how he understands it and how an ignorant person understands it, there is a huge difference in that understanding. The ignorant person thinks my happiness is in the world is real and my happiness is over there. Whereas the realized master says, yes, the world is there, it's an illusion, it's not a source of my happiness. I am the one that is supporting that world, so I myself am that source of happiness. That is the understanding. Therefore, that's the understanding. So here he says, and that is one difference. And then know also that modifications and qualities are born of Prakriti. Why? Why modification? Because we have always said, Shruti has always said, Brahman is changeless. So if we say, Bhagavan says modification belongs to Brahman, then Shruti's statement is negated. No way that can happen. So Prakriti is modifiable, and Brahman is not modifiable. Therefore, whatever modifications, whatever changes you see belong to Prakriti. It is like this. To give you an example in the worldly thing, gold. Okay, we have ornaments of gold, very common. All of us do, all Indians do. Gold, it is modifiable. What means what? Means gold, you put it in fire, in heat, it becomes soft. It's pliable. The goldsmith can change its shape, make it into a bangle or a whatever necklace or whatever. Now, because of its inherent quality, okay, that it will become soft and then it can be molded. Now you take mercury. Is mercury modifiable? Can you make ornaments out of mercury? You can't. You can't. It is not modifiable. You cannot change. You cannot make a necklace out of mercury. It's impossible. So what can be modified only will get modified. And Prakriti can be modified. And why can Prakriti be modified? Is because Prakriti is Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. The qualities, modifications and qualities are born of Prakriti. Qualities here, Guna, is Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. They are modifiable. They modify, they change. They become more, they become less. They never go to zero. Please understand, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, and 14 it will explain in detail. Bhagavan will explain these qualities. But Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, Sattva indicating knowledge, purity, Rajas, activity, and tamas, inertia. We see these three principles, sattva, rajas, tamas. If you ask me to show you, I cannot. Nobody can show us sattva, rajas. This is sattva, this is no. But the expression of those things can be shown. So sattva is purity, knowledge, calmness, represented by the color white. That's why all the brahmacharis, when we study, we have to wear white. That is one thing. Rajas, represented by the color red, dynamism, activity. That is rajas. And tamas is represented by black, darkness, ignorance, inertia. And we see these expressions in the world. We see the principle of dynamism. We see the principle of knowledge, calmness, purity. We see the principle of inertia. And because of that, we infer that there is sattva, rajas, tamas. Sattva, rajas, and tamas can only be inferred. They cannot be seen. They can be perceived because inference is there. But there is no direct perception. But direct perception is a person very, very calm. A person who is like, has a to-do list. What do I do next? What do I do next? And a person who is very lazy and dull and, oh, tomorrow, let's take it, do it tomorrow. So when we see this in animals also, and we see them in plants also. So all this is belonging to Prakriti. It doesn't belong to Brahman. That's why Brahman is beyond sattva, rajas, tamas. And therefore, all three have to be ultimately transcended to reach Brahman. Okay? Clear? This is what he's saying. No, understand this now, Arjun. This is what he says. Now, karya karana kartrutve hetu prakriti ruchate purusha sukha dukkhanam bhoktrutve hetu ruchate. In the production of the effect and cause, Prakriti is said to be the cause. In the experience of pleasure and pain, Purusha is said to be cause. This is, what is the cause of the world? This is now being explained. So what is born out of Prakriti is cause and effect, which is what does that mean? There is Ishvara. Here Purusha has to be understood as Jiva. Okay. Purusha here, yeah, that's very important to understand because Purusha has every word has many meanings. That's why there's so much confusion. Here, Purusha, the break of the word Purusha here is Puri Shayanat iti Purushaha. Puri Shayanat iti Purusha. Now, Karya, Karan, Karya, effect, Karan, cause, Kartutve, how hetu is this thing, hetu is cause, yeah. So what is the cause? Prakriti uchate. It is said, uchate, it is said that Prakriti is the cause. For this cause and effect means material cause is coming from Prakriti. Material cause is what? This whole body, mind, intellect complex. This is matter. We saw that in Tattva Bodh. The five elements, the sattvic aspect makes up the mind. So both Vedanta also saw against the sattvic aspect of the elements makes up the mind. The rajasic aspect of the elements is making up the pranas because they are active. And the tamasic aspect of the elements, five elements, is making up this gross body. Okay, that is what the first line is saying. So this body complex has come from there, but then the body is also experiencing things. Experiencing sukha and dukkha, right? We experience, so is it the body that is experiencing sukha and dukkha? No, it is the one who is living in the body. Therefore, this Purusha means Puri Shayanat iti Purusha, and who is living inside the body is the reflection of consciousness, is the jiva, it is the ego. So what is being said is that the feeling of sukha and dukkha that I feel, because these two, everything else is a byproduct, it's basic is sukha and dukkha. I feel either good or I don't feel good. That feeling is coming from Purusha, but Purusha doesn't mean Brahman. Purusha doesn't also mean Ishvara here. Purusha means Puri Shayanat iti, the one who is living inside this body as the reflection of consciousness, which is ego, which is jiva, is the cause for feeling sukha and dukkha. If I come to know this, what is the purpose of Bhagavan telling this? Why should Bhagavan tell us this? See, when we experience sukha and dukkha, what do I say? Oh, I am so happy. I am so sad. This is what is happening to me. And this one said this thing to me. Bhagavan wants us to understand who is that me that I keep referring to as an ignorant person. I keep referring to me, this one said this, so I got hurt. That one said that, so I felt happy. That one did this. This happened to me. That happened to me. Who is the me? Is the Purusha here. Purisha. It is the ego. And are you the ego? This is what Bhagavan is trying to tell Arjun now. Understand that it is the ego. It is something other than you. Something other than you. So this is what he's now telling. If you say the effect, what is the effect? We know body, like the 5 organs of perception, the 5 organs of action, and the mind intellect. So it's kind of 12, or you can say 14 if you want. 5 organs of perception, 5 pranas also included in all that. This is all effect. Percept, body, mind, intellect, pranas, all this is effect. Okay, and is the cause is Prakriti. Why? Prakriti has got Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, which the 5 elements are coming from there. They also have Sattva, Rajas, Tamas because they've come from Prakriti. And so we also, all this whole equipment has also got Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. That's why Swamiji also said mind is basically sattvic because it has come from the sattvic aspect, but it's got mixed up with rajas and tamas, and those are the impurities. So they have to be removed. Rajas has to be removed. Tamas has to be removed. Mind is basically, it is pure. It is sattvic. And so this efficient cause and material cause, this is karana and kartrutve, material cause, this material is the same. It belongs to Prakriti. Everything is coming from one source. It's not different. So you see, in our normal thing, we have the example of the potter. The pot, the clay is there, the wheel is there, and the potter is there. There are 3 different things. The potter is the efficient cause, the material cause is the clay, and the wheel is the instrumental cause. And this verse is telling us, in case of creation, there are not 3 different things. There is the same thing. There is Prakriti and there is Purusha. That's it. And everything is coming from Brahman. So there is only one thing. The material also is coming from Prakriti, and the material which is being felt now, right? The Sukha Dukha is felt within the material is also reflection of that consciousness. Prakriti is power of Brahman, Maya. And this reflection is also Brahman only. So source is only one. There are not 2, 3 different things. This is what is being told. It's that way. It is a very simple verse, but this is what needs to be understood. So therefore, this bhoktrutve hetu ruchate sukhanam bhoktrutve. So bhoktrutve, experiencing, enjoying also, but experiencing is a better translation. How is this thing? Experience, yeah, in the experience. So because if you say enjoy, then it only refers to sukha. You don't enjoy dukkha. Sorrow is never enjoyed, but experience, you experience joy and you experience sorrow, and that is because of the reflection of consciousness, which is called as Purusha over here, because it's the sentient aspect in the matter. In matter, that is what is sentient, and the rest of it is come from Prakriti. Okay, and both of them have come from Brahman. One is a reflection and one is this matter. In that matter, in the subtle matter, is reflecting reflecting Brahman. The consciousness is reflecting in there. Now the next one, in my father's handwriting, it says V-imp, very important, which means his acharya would have told him that would be Swami Purushothamananji. Samsara. What is this samsara due to? Okay, so in Gurudev's notes, he says, thus it is said in the above that the knower of the field, Purusha, is the enjoyer of the pleasure and pain, samsara. So knower of the field, here knower of the field is not Kshetrajna, it is Purusha, it is the reflection. Samsara. So what is this samsara due to? Now he's giving this. And this again was referred to in Subodh Vedanta as Ishvara Srishti and Jiva Srishti. Those words have come from Swami Vidyaranya. He has given us that in Panchadashi. Purusha prakriti sthohi bhungte prakriti jan gunan karanam guna sangosya sadasadyo nijanmasu. Purusha, seated in Prakriti. Once again, seated in Prakriti. So Purishayanat iti Purushaha. not the supreme reality, okay, not Brahman. Experiences the qualities born of Prakriti. Attachment to the qualities is the cause of his birth in good and evil wombs. Okay, so qualities born of Prakriti. So first Purusha, understand it to be the ego, Jiva, okay, which is experiencing this joy and sorrow. Qualities, Sattva, Rajas, Guna, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. These are the three qualities of Prakriti. Now, these qualities are what have given rise to the world, and these qualities are giving rise to action. Chapter 3, Guna Guneshu Vartante, Bhagavan says. Action is coming out of the interaction of all these three gunas. The ignorant person takes ownership of that action. It is actually happening because of Prakriti, but the ignorant jiva takes on, I did it. I am the one that is the doer, and I am the one that will enjoy. But the man of realization knows that this is happening because of Prakriti. I have got nothing to do with it. And this is what Bhagavan is saying here, that attachment to the qualities, the one who says that I am doing this and I will enjoy, is the cause of his birth. So when a person is doing good actions and taking credit for those good actions, he will get a good womb. But what is the bottom line? Birth is not avoided. Yes, he will get a good womb, he will get a higher womb, but birth is not avoided. The whole purpose of human life is to avoid birth, avoid next birth. So when he attaches to the, what does it mean, attaches to the qualities? He takes ownership of the qualities. He's taking ownership of the action. Action, interaction, experiencing is happening because of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, because of the gunas. I am taking ownership of it. This has happened to me. I got hurt. I got sick. I had this. I that. I. This is attachment. This is identification. And when this identification keeps happening, whether with good actions or with bad actions, good actions will take you to good wombs, and bad actions will take you to bad wombs. This is what Bhagavan will say in chapter 14 also, it will come. A sattvic person will get a sattvic birth. Rajasic person will remain same. Sattvic person gets a higher birth. Rajasic remains at the same level. Tamasic person goes down. He will go into animal yonis. This is what he says. So this one, no. So what should I do? I should not attach. I should not identify with the action. I should, therefore, even in the previous verse, he said, it is the jiva who is experiencing joy and sorrow. You are not the jiva. This is what Bhagavan is trying to tell. You are Brahman. You are not the jiva. Understand. Because you see, unless we have this knowledge, we thought I only was happy. No. Since childhood, what did we think? I'm happy, I'm sad, I want this, I want that. This is what we thought. Nobody's mistake it is. We just grew up like that. Now we have come into the knowledge. Now Bhagavan is telling us that understand that the one who has become joyful and sorrowful is the ego, is Purusha. And we know ego is a reflection of consciousness in the subtle body. Are you the reflection? You can't be the reflection. Why? Because reflection has no real reality. That is dependent on the object and is dependent on the medium. So it has no real reality. And that is what is experiencing Sukha Dukha and becoming happy, sad, and saying, I'm happy, I'm sad. Somebody insulted me, somebody honored me, somebody did this to me, somebody did that to me. That's what I'm saying. So understand. And therefore he says that this Purusha is experiencing, and okay, what is he? He's experiencing this guna guneshu vartante, this transaction that is going on between the gunas. That is what he's experiencing. So, and this, when he identifies with that experience, when that Purusha who is seated in Prakriti identifies with the experience, what is identifying with the experience is considering that it is happening to me. That is identification. I am sick. The thing should be my body is sick. It's got nothing to do with me. My mind is hurt. Nothing to do with me. My mind is happy. Nothing to do with me. When you keep hammering this into yourself, that I am Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, nothing can ever touch me, then that birth, you have some chance of that birth being avoided. Otherwise, I'm doing good. I'm doing such good action. I'm doing everything very nice. But identification is what is going to be. It's not good or bad that you do identification. So don't identify with anything. This is what it is. The next one, Bhagavan is going to give various names, extremely simple to understand. So even before I read the verse, I'll tell you, just as there is only one Jaya, which I've given many times, but when her children stand in front of her, they call her mom. When her parents stand in front of her, they call her daughter. When her husband stands in front of her, he calls her wife. When her friend stands in front of her, he says friend, enemy, teacher, student, devotee, disciple. So, but there is only one Jaya, but all these various names. Now, these are the different names for Brahman, is what Bhagavan is explaining. Upadrashta Anumanta cha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwarah Paramatmeti Chapyuktaha Dehesmin Purusha Parah. The supreme Purusha in this body, that is Dehe Asmin Purusha Paraha. Now here the Purusha is the supreme, it is the supreme Purusha. Why? Because it's the reflection of the supreme Purusha. So actually, who is that ego? This is the Asi principle that is being told in this verse, okay? Who is that? Because in the previous two verses, he said, it is that Purusha, the ego is experiencing. And because of that experiencing, he's there. This is what I was, Ishvara. See, Ishvara Srishti, like Swamiji also explained, Ishvara Srishti is the sun and moon and stars, rain, everything, everything. There is nothing ever wrong with Ishvara Srishti. Because see, if you like the sun, can we live without rain? So we need rain. Can you live without sunshine? We need sunshine. Can you live without heat? So full cold, you can't. Okay, no, only heat. You need cold also, you need hot also. And that is what Ishvara Srishti is. Jiva Srishti is when I set up a relationship with that Ishvara Srishti. This verse 22, this is what it is. So, and how do I set up a relationship? Because of my likes and dislikes. When I say that I like sunshine and I don't like rain, I've set up a relationship of like and dislike. Now, because of that relationship, when there is sunshine, I will feel very happy. And when there is rain, I will feel very unhappy. And that will become a cause for my birth. Therefore, understand that there is nothing wrong with Ishvara Srishti and do not set up a relationship with it. And the relationship is being set by the ego, which itself is false. So how that relationship will be true? The original experiencer is false. This is to be known. This is to be known and remembered. When we go through experiences in life, this needs to be remembered at all stages. And therefore, every time when you say, I don't like that, don't go from there, don't do that. Spiritual seekers should not be saying that. Okay, you want to go from here, let's go from here. You want to do that? Okay, let's do that. Do not set up. Therefore, this Ishvara Srishti and Jiva, these two words are very important. Panchadashi, Bhagwan, Swami Vidyaranya has explained this. That is what this is. And remember that there's nothing wrong, because why? It is made by Ishvara. How can there be anything wrong? Ishvara is perfect. So Ishvara Srishti also is perfect. Therefore, whatever is happening in the world is happening because of a reason. Is happening because of a reason. We have to understand that. Okay, so now this one, the supreme Purusha in this body is also called the spectator, the permitter, the supporter, the enjoyer, the great Lord, and the supreme self. Like Jaya is called mom, Jaya is called daughter, Jaya is called teacher, Jaya is called disciple, Jaya is called devotee, disciple, friend, enemy, exactly same. Upadrashta, upa near, drashta seer. So it is the sakshi of everything that is happening in the body. Seated in the body, this Brahman seated in the body, while seated in the body. So when the body is given reality, Sakshi becomes real. Sakshi, Sakshat Ikshate iti Sakshi, witness. There can only be a witness when there is something to be witnessed. So Upadrashta, as long as the body is there, as long as the world is being witnessed, he is called as Upadrashta. Anumanta, the permitter. Anumanta, it's whatever the mind wants to do, it says tathastu, do it. Permit is because this is what our mind says, na? Let me do this. Okay, go do. Let me do that. Okay, go do. Never prohibits, never says don't do. Okay, you want to do. We do it. We go and do it. Everything that we want to do. Bharta, the supporter. Bharta, how is he supporter? How is he supporting? Because he's keeping all the 5 elements together in the body, through the subtle body. These 5 elements are being held in, the gross body is being held because of the subtle body. That's why when the subtle body leaves the gross body, it is called as a dead body. So this, because the reflection is happening in the subtle body, that subtle body is keeping this gross body alive. Therefore, it is the supporter. So when referring to the gross body, it is bharta. It is supporting the gross body. That's why this subtle body, when it leaves, no more life in the body, right? That life is what is sustaining this gross body. And when the subtle body leaves, if you leave the dead body, it will just rot after a while. A live body doesn't rot on its own unless there's something wrong with the body, but otherwise it will just rot. So that is why it is supporting. That's why bharta. And then bhokta, who is enjoying? I am enjoying. So Brahman as the reflection is enjoying. Understand, these are all different names for Brahman. This is Asi. This Jiva is the Sakshi. Jiva, subtle body is holding, but all these are Brahman only. This is what is being told. Bhokta, experiencer. And then Paramatmeti cha api yuktaha. Iti das api is called. So these words, Upadrashta, Anumanta, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwara. Maheshwara, great Lord. The great Lord. Ishvara, Maha Ishvara. Okay? Lordship. So, and the one who is present in all the bodies, Maheshwara, Maha. Paramatma is nothing. These names are nothing but that Paramatma, which is the Supreme Lord. So that is the Asi. We told you from 13 onwards, this Asi principle starts. Just this one and 15 will give Asi. So Paramatmati cha api yuktaha dehesmin purushaha paraha. So in the Deha, that Purusha which is experiencing all this is actually the Supreme Lord. Means what? Means it is actually Brahman only reflecting in the subtle body. But I have now separated. I say God is over there and I am over here. What I say. This is what is to be understood. The great Lord and the Supreme Self. So it is Maheshwara also, and it is the Supreme Brahman also. As the reflection, then it becomes Sakshi, because I can see my own mind, I can see my own body. I'm the one that's permitting the body. The body wants to go eat something, the body wants to go do something. I'm the one that is permitting. Means because of me, everything is happening. The Jiva is permitting. Bharta, it is holding the body together, supporter. It is enjoying, that Jiva is enjoying whatever. And who is that Jiva? It is Maheshwara, it is Paramatma, it is Brahman, Asi, principle of Asi. And inside the Deha, Dehe Asmin Purushaha Paraha, Asmin Dehe, in this Deha, in this body, it is that Supreme Purusha. Okay. All right. Ya evam veti purusham prakritim cha gunai saha sarvatha vartamanopi nasabhuyo bhijayate. He who thus knows the Purusha and Prakriti together with the qualities, in whatsoever condition he may be, he is not born again. So the one who knows this Asi principle, that this ego is nothing but Brahman itself, then in whatsoever condition he may be, so externally he may be roaming around, he may look like a madman, he may look like a child, whatever that he does, Jivan Mukta Purusha is not born again. He who thus knows that this is how this Purusha and Prakriti. Now here, Purusha and Prakriti together with the qualities. So Purusha and Prakriti, they are not different. This is what is to be known, that both of these have come from Brahman. This is what is to be known. Prakriti is Maya. It is the power of Brahman, power of the Lord. Purusha is the reflection of Brahman happening in the subtle body. Together, Purusha and Prakriti, this reflection and Prakriti, are creating this world. They're creating the Jiva Srishti. Ishvara Srishti, Ishvara has created. Leave him alone. It is perfect. Now, these two are creating the Jiva Srishti by setting up a relationship, by setting up this relationship based on like and dislike. That's why the first instruction is neutralize likes and dislikes. Purification of mind is neutralization of likes and dislikes. So that's when that happens. When you come to know the oneness, there will be no more birth. There is one note that I've written here. So this names, there is a hierarchy to it. Okay. So the names are Upadrashta, Anumanta, Bharta and Bhokta. So we start with Bhokta. We start means we already think that we are the experiencer. Okay, correct? So how do I progress? With this verse itself, how do I progress? So I am at the level of Bhokta. All of us are at the level of Bhokta because I think I'm experiencing the world. I'm experiencing heat, cold, joy, sorrow. From there, you go to Bharta. Instead of considering yourself as the experiencer, you consider yourself as the one that is holding this gross body together from Bharta. Then from Bharta, you go on to Anumanta. Anumanta, I am the one that is permitting this like and dislike. I am the one that is permitting the body to do this. I am the one that is permitting the body to either do what it likes or not do what it does not like. So from there, you proceed to Anumanta. And from Anumanta, the final stage is Sakshi. Be a Sakshi. Be the Upadrashta. Understand that you are a witness of things that are happening around you, that you are not the doer. You are not doing anything. Whatever is happening because of destiny, because of the interaction of the gunas. I have got nothing to do with it. Sakshi is one who does not get involved in anything that is happening. So when something happens to the body, don't get involved. Now, don't get involved doesn't mean don't treat the body. Okay? You treat the body, but don't be happy or unhappy. I mean, unhappy if something bad happens to the body, unhappy. Don't be unhappy that it has happened. We become unhappy. Why did this happen to me? Why now I, can't do this, can't do that. Now this is this. That should not be there. Upadrashta, so that is the highest that you can go to, Upadrashta, in the body. And from Upadrashta, you need to go further to Brahman. But at least while in this body, while living, while experiencing this world, if I can remain as a Sakshi, I got it made. And I'll say, okay, this is happening to my body. Okay, this is the treatment. Okay, fine, do this. This is the med. Okay, do that. Okay, somebody hurt. Yes, my ego got hurt because somebody said something to me. Okay, fine. Sakshi. Sakshi never gets involved. Okay, happy. Okay, I felt happy. Okay, chalo, theek hai. Whatever. And when you neutralize likes and dislikes, Sakshitva will become very easy. Because you know what suppose what you like, okay, but you have neutralized your life. So okay, theek hai, it came, no big deal. Okay, you don't like something. Okay, it came. Okay, no big deal. I don't like it, but it came. Fine. Or I like something, it didn't come. Okay, that's fine. So neutralization of likes and dislikes will help you become Upadrashta. Because when you have likes and dislikes, you're at the level of Bhokta. Because you like it, so you enjoy. You don't like it, so you don't enjoy. So you're at the level of Bhokta. Understand yourself to be the supporter of the body. You're not the body, you are the supporter of the body. So you're one step ahead. Then Anumanta, you're the one that is permitting all this. Why? Because of likes and dislikes. And then understand you're not even permitting, you're only witnessing what is happening, because the gunas are interacting. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas are doing all the work. You are just witnessing that. And stay at that level of Upadrashta. Stay at the level of witness. It will become easy to rise above that. Understand that Sakshi is nothing but Tatpada. This is Tatpada Shodhanam, Asi. Okay. Any questions? All okay? All right. So we have only now a few verses left, 35, and we are at 25. So about 10. But now the rest of the verses are how to get there. Easy. They'll be pretty easy.